Ride to Hell: Retribution is one of my favorite games of all time, and don't get me wrong, I don't think it's good or alright or even acceptable, but it is uniquely charming in its over-the-top idiocy, leveraging tired mechanics and storytelling tropes to deliver pure, playable sewage. The game features one Jake Conway, a recently discharged Vietnam vet, without much purpose or drive and a lot of emotional baggage. Shortly upon returning home, his brother Mikey is slaughtered, digging up ancient grudges with a villainous biker gang, the Devil's Hand. So yeah, the premise is fairly simple, but packs a pleasing melodramatic punch. Jake had nothing to live for except his family, but now his brother's gone, so he only lives for revenge. He's going to destroy the Devil's Hand and anyone associated, one bullet at a time. It's a pretty transparent power fantasy wherein we, the players, are meant to see Jake as relatable and righteous, and that's pretty darn funny given how unhinged and morally reprehensible he is. Like, the game will go out of its way to insist Jake's totally justifiable, despite him slaughtering innocent truckers, blowing up a power plant, killing hundreds of cops, and trafficking just so many drugs. Jake is just as awful as everyone he kills. The game is laughably tone-deaf. But like it or not, we're stuck with Jake, and on this Neanderthal ne'er-do-well's journey, he meets a cast of colorful characters and cities. He'll visit San Alfonso, a sleazy gambling town full of scams, sex, and sex scams. Or there's Fogwood, where everything is made of, wood. It's got a homey vibe with red rugs and miles of forest, home to simple working folk. Or hey, how about Coyote Rock, a high-altitude suburb for high-living folk full of modern architecture, at least by 60 standards. Each area is accompanied by a corresponding Devil's Hand cretin, such as Anvil, who hangs out in the brewery, being the most outwardly sadistic, brainless, and brutal of the bunch. Or Colt, the traditional stoic villain peddling the largest stash of drugs hidden away in the airplane graveyard. Meanwhile, Meat Hook is a performative combatant, favoring the lights and glamour of the boxing ring. Greasy Steve is a slippery, squirrely coward who delivers the Devil's Hand's dirty messages, and he's one heck of a racer. 666 is a rich coward with a facade of strength, drowning in his own self-importance at his family's lumber mill. King Dick is an egotistical, melodramatic, and theatrical sort, harboring an unflinching persona of sexual and physical dominance befitting his hideout at the abandoned church. And finally, there's Caesar, the big bad who treats all the world like his personal property. On your quest to murderize these men of moral destitution, you'll encounter just the absolute worst series of fetch quests you can imagine. It is not hyperbole to say 90% of this game is padding. For example, you'll want to take someone down, but first you have to win a race to impress his girl. After winning the race, you've got to steal a bike for her, but to steal that bike, you've got to go through an entire mine and kill all the miners. Then there's a couple chase sequences, then you affix a bomb to the bike, but only after a bloated trailer park shootout. Finally, you deliver the armed bike to your target and blow it up right next to him, so you still have to shoot him down personally. It's utter nonsense of the highest order. So we've got a protagonist who's a transparent, poorly justified power fantasy, over-the-top villains who are meant to contrast with said protagonist, but are truthfully no worse than him, and seriously show-stopping pacing issues. It's safe to say the story is some truly terrible stuff. So how's the gameplay? Well, it's a mess, as you might have guessed. It's a mix of beat-em-up combat, driving missions, and cover-based blasting. The shooting is far and away the most functional aspect thanks to some satisfying headshot feedback and low time to kill. To contrast, the melee mechanics are mindless. No matter what weapon you choose, be prepared to spam your combo of choice, occasionally tap the counter key, then resume prior spamming. I died at least a few times to the shooting, but never once to the brawling. The driving fares a bit better at least, with a focus on arcadey obstacle avoidance, even if the physics are quite questionable. But hey, none of that stuff really matters. You want to know the best part of Ride to Hell's gameplay? The goofy level gimmicks. No, for real, like, Colt's Ranch has you running from a combine harvester like Crash Bandicoot, then escaping a flaming greenhouse. In the mines, you have to clear obstacles using dynamite, and you snipe headlamps off the workers like it's a power-up or something. In San Alfonso, you've got a stealth minigame where you dodge a rooftop spotlight. And the sawmill? Man, the sawmill is the holy grail. You've got to dodge a runaway truck, defend this checkpoint from endless enemies, and while you're at it, watch out for these log hazards straight from a 3D platformer. It's wonderfully silly stuff. Unfortunately, there are just as many levels with nothing meaningful to speak of, so it's still kind of a wash. Look, this isn't the longest I've rambled about Ride to Hell, and it won't be the last time, not by a long shot, and I understand it may be downright perplexing why I'm so fascinated with it, but the game is just that remarkable. It does so much in earnest, none of which is the least bit tasteful, sensible, cohesive, or unironically enjoyable. That said, this video has only made me want to play through it again.